Hello and welcome to your Long Island Weather Alert. We're going to be providing these, not going to have a long video. Each video will be shorter as we track the storm. We had a lot of heavy rain. The wind is just starting. We've had some flooding along the coast, but the worst is yet to come. This is the satellite image right now, and you can see this area right here. This is where you have your severe weather right there going on, and that really heavy rain is in that particular area right there. So let's look at the storm on the... Look at this thing. I mean, look at that. All the way to the Pacific. You can draw the arrow right there and follow the moisture all the way up. All the way from the tropics. Tropical Pacific, thanks to your super El Nino. So you can see here, this is what you call an atmospheric river right here. This is it. That's what it looks like on the satellite. Let's now take a look at what it looks like on the radar here. And you'll see here, there's the heavier rain and wind off to the east in Pennsylvania, probably a few hours away. We're going to start getting into this really nasty stuff that's going to be moving into the area. You can see this looks like a little squall line right here. And this goes all the way down. Look at that. Off the, it looks like it's already cleared the Carolinas, but it goes all the way down out into the tropics. So you can see, look at that connection right there that you have. So let's go and look at our observations across the area so we get a chance to see what's going on out here. We have temperatures around 50. Nothing crazy with the wind gusts. See a few 30s. Do have a 40-mile-an-hour wind gust at Islip. But as we make our way inland, and of course we have the high wind warning in effect, the coastal flood advisory. We'll talk about the rainfall reports as well. But let's go and take a look and see what we got going inland here and see if we can find some really strong wind gusts here. I don't see anything too crazy. 43. 44. I don't see anything. Oh, here we go. This is where it is. This is where it's getting bad. Delaware, 58-mile-an-hour wind gusts at Georgetown. So this is what's heading our way, and we'll be here in a few hours or less because it looks like Atlantic City is already gusting to 52. So this is, like I said, some pretty heavy wind that we've got going on. Let's look at our buoys right now. We've got a wave height of 9.2 feet. Said it's coastal flooding going on, and they showed some streets flooded on News 12 because, again, they're all over the South Shore, as they always are. 40-mile-an-hour wind gust at White Plains. Let's take a look and see. Now, you see temperatures have gotten into the 50s. We'll just briefly show you the lows, and then we're going to show you the precipitation that we had, just the lows. Did get down to West Hampton, 19 in West Hampton this morning. 20s pretty much everywhere else except 30s in the city. And our highs, well, those are our current temperatures right now. Let's now look and see how much rainfall we've gotten so far today. Let's see. We've got a lot more to come, too. Looks like nearly an inch, almost an inch. Out east, a little bit less. To our west, we've had over an inch already. And look at these areas in Jersey. Already, some of these areas are already over 2 inches in northern Jersey. And this is where they had the snowpack. So we're going to see flooding going on in these areas shortly along the rivers and stuff. And it looks like New Jersey also, Ocean County, also over an inch. We're still raining. We still got a ways to go here. All right. Let's now go and look at our rivers and lakes. So we'll shift over to that. And again, this is the Weather Service radar here. You can see heavier rain there off to the north and west. Let's look at our... let's go and look at our, our rivers and lakes. Let's see if we have any flooding yet. Oh, yes, we do. Mostly along the shores. You can see here some of these tidal areas here are definitely flooding here. Some of these tidal gauges. None on Long Island yet. We have one here that's showing something here. This is Great South Bay at Lindenhurst. So there... We'll have to pull this out a little bit here. Great South Bay at Lindenhurst. You can see that on the screen there. That's definitely flooding. So they're getting some flooding there along the bays, but you'll see the rivers start to flood inland. You'll see we got Pantypack Creek. Yeah, it's going way up. So these are going way up, and they're not going to crest until tomorrow. All the rain that they're getting. So still got a lot of rain to go. Let's go now, shift to power outages. Not too bad right now. Only 418 people without power. 418 customers without power on Long Island. That's not too bad. We can look at Jersey Central Power and Light as well. They only have about 8,400 without power. So you can see mostly in the northern part of the state, not too much along the southern part of the state. But if we go to our power outage map, you'll see here that we have. Look at all these other states in red here that we have. Even Florida, North Carolina in particular, seeing a lot of outages along the coast. So these could be due to some severe thunderstorms that move through these areas, because there were severe thunderstorm watches and warnings out earlier. Even tornado watches. We'll have to see if they had any tornadoes actually touch down over there or not. You can see all these flood warnings in effect too. Flash flood warnings in effect as well. And there are other states that we hit harder. We go to, let's look at Virginia here. Again, mostly along the coast you have outages. Pennsylvania, also seeing a decent amount of outages in some areas, possibly due to some isolated thunderstorms with strong winds. And in New York, too, as well, seeing a lot in the west. Chautauqua, this is where they had all that heavy snow, and then the rain came in, so it caused a lot of flooding there. So, yeah, really, really a mess. You see all this rain came in on top of that snow, as you see here. So, let's now go and look at the models, and I'll just go over let's go to the eastern U.S. view, just show you the storm here. So this is going to continue tonight. You can see that, and then finally moves out tomorrow morning. I'm not going to talk about the weather later tomorrow. We're just focused on the storm right now. All right. So let's go to the latest models that we got to look available. The short-range model, the HRRR model that we have for you. And you'll see here, this is the HRRR model, and you'll see that squall line is going to come through around, it looks like it's saying around, let's see, 5Zs. That's 11 o'clock to midnight, around midnight it's going to come through, and that's when we're going to get our strongest winds. We could have a severe thunderstorm warning with that squall line. That's when we're going to have our strongest winds, and then the winds shift to the west and back off once the heart of that LLJ passes. We look at our 850 wind, you'll see here, this is the heart of the LLJ. We're not even into the worst of it yet. The worst of it comes in later. In a few hours, we'll start seeing those winds pick up and really pick up as we get toward 10, 11, especially 11 o'clock to midnight. And we'll see our worst winds with that LLJ coming on through. And we'll, of course, have more rain, probably at least another inch of rain, if not more. When that LLJ comes through, there's going to be some extremely heavy rain with it as well. Let's go to our dew points and wind flow. Just to, again, show you that LLJ. There it is right there. You can see it right there. That's the LLJ right there. You can see where then the wind shift to the west. Total accumulated precip on top of what we already have. Yeah, look at that. It's showing already from the 0Z run, we could see another possibly 1 to 2 inches of rain on top of what we already just have. So it's going to be a lot more rain to come, at least according to the HRRR. That's one model we can look at. Let's go to the NAM3 next. All right. The NAM3 is only, we don't have the latest run of the NAM3, and I don't want to use an old run. So that's why I'm only going to really look at the HRRR right now, because that's the only one we have to look at. Let's visualize what the HRRR is doing on Ventus Sky right now. So we'll go to the wind gusts here. And we already went through this last night, so I'm not going to go into this. This is more of a now casting thing. It's saying gusts of 51. It looks like it may be overestimating a little bit right now. We're not seeing those gusts yet, but we will later. Once we get toward 11 o'clock, you can see 63, 67 miles an hour. These are the kind of wind gusts we're going to deal with, and there's going to be a lot more coastal flooding that we are going to deal with as this storm progresses. We get the waves coming in, you'll see here. All right, there we go. So you can see here, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And again, wind gusts. Move this to 10 o'clock here. And you'll see here at the midnight, this is midnight. This is when the worst of it's probably going to hit here. Again, gusts over 60 miles an hour. I only see 50 to 60. We're going to see more gusts 60 to 70 miles an hour later tonight with this front here. And you can see this is what's going to cause a lot of power outages, especially when this squall line winds up moving through. Thunderstorms. I think we even showed a little bit of Cape here as well. A little bit of it. So we'll have to see what happens. You can see a little bit off to the left side of the screen. Definitely a little bit concerned about that lifted index. Not terrible, but again, I think that we could definitely see some severe thunderstorms from this line that is going to move through. And again, when we look at the sustained winds and we go just above the surface here, let's go just 100 meters up here. We'll roll this back to 9 o'clock here. Sight's being very slow. Nothing terrible yet. This is just 9 o'clock. This is what it is around right now. All right, but when we move it over to 10 o'clock, that's when things are going to start worsening. Oh, well, that's why it's not right. I was like, wait a minute. It didn't look right. The sight's being very, very slow. Just hold on a second. Here we go. That's correct. All right. So this is what it is right now, 9 o'clock. You can see already, so maybe Jersey Shore getting some stronger winds aloft. We move into those stronger winds aloft as we get to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. This is just 100 meters above the ground. Around 11 o'clock, you can see we got 52 miles an hour there. I'm going to put this up to 250 meters so we get a better idea here of what's going on here. And again, the sight is being very slow. So 9 o'clock, we'll roll this back to 9 o'clock again. And you can see 54, but then as we go toward 11, that's when we get into our hurricane force winds, just 250 meters above the ground. And let's get to noon here. So this is the noon. So here we go, noon. I meant not noon, midnight, 70 miles an hour. So 1 o'clock. So you start shifting the sight. It's so slow. 74. It's going to take its sweet time coming through. So I think, that period from midnight to after midnight, we're going to see some of the strongest winds here. Say from like midnight to like 3 o'clock. There's a winds aloft, but this is where you're going to have your squall line set up. All right. And this is where you're going to have your strongest wind gusts at the surface. All right. So this is the latest model we're using. That's why I'm not going to look at any other models tonight. Lastly, let's go look at the lightning detection here and see, my gosh, look at all the light. There isn't too much lightning with this line. I'm not seeing too much here. I can't rule it out, but look at all the lightning with this line further to the south. So that's an incredible amount of strikes right there. So they probably had absolutely pummeled in the Carolinas with these storms. And we'll just go and we'll go to AccuWeather here, and maybe I'll close this out, and we'll see if they actually have any news. Usually they pop some news up in here, but let's see, nothing here about that. So curious here. Severe storms, flooding, and downpours to keep blasting the south and the east. We can go and look at weather.com and .com just to show you. I'm just curious about the damage. Yes, we've had tornadoes. Severe weather tornadoes hit. So 600,000 without power. At least 3 dead. 7,000.
Sadly, the severe side of Winter Storm Finn turned.
This is what's going on, and this happened. This happened at they call. I hate when they name the storms, but it said. Let's see, Florida theme parks affected by the weather. Tornadoes across the south. So tornado reports. They were in Florida, Bay, Calhoun, Jackson, Leon, Washington County. Also tornado reports from Early, Calhoun, Coffee counties in Georgia, as well as Houston County in Alabama. And there's also a report of a tornado last night in San Jacinto, Texas. We have a semi-flipping due to the high winds here that happened here on the Ravenel Bridge. So this is what we got going on as we watch this powerhouse storm move through our area. And I'll keep you updated through the night as long as I can. Obviously, if the power goes out, then I'm going to have a little difficulty keeping you updated. But there you go. There's our crazy LLJ right there. Atmospheric river. The worst is yet to come. So Belton, like I said, I think after we're going to see conditions start rapidly deteriorating, say after 11 o'clock or so, and then we're going to get into the worst of it from midnight to 2 a.m. Is when that worst that's going to hit with the squall line and our 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. That's probably where we're going to see most of our power outages as well as our coastal flooding. Anyway, that is all for now. Take care and be safe.